Palooza in full throat here tonight at the Ball Yard as the Indians wrap up this 3-game series against the Oakland Athletics. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Trying to turn things around offensively. They have really hit the skids. Doesn't help that they're up against one of the teams who is pitching better than anybody in the American League. But offensively, what are they going to do to get things turned around?
Well, there's not much to talk about because they've been shut out twice in the last 5 games. They have scored only 4 runs. You can see 44 punch-outs in the 5 games. You're going to have to try and string something together. Hopefully, you get a couple guys on, someone hits a home run, they get a little confidence. But you know what? Your team looks bad when you don't score offensively. They've got to keep swinging. You've got to hit your way out of slumps. They're going to have to continue to go out there and just try and do something.
And it's not easy against an Oakland Athletics starting rotation that's gone 3 weeks solid, where they've pitched at least 6 innings in every start.
Well, they have been on a roll. The 5 starters for the A's, by far, have been the best in the league. Those guys go out there, give you 6 innings in their last 23 starts, and giving up earned runs. They don't do that. I'm telling you, 3 earned runs or less in the last 17 games. Their bullpen has been very, very good, and all 5 starters in the rotation have an ERA under 4. That's very impressive for a ball club.
Tonight it's Vin Mazzaro for Oakland, Justin Masterson going for the try. We'll be back with all the play-by-play coming up next. It's the finale of the 3-game series tonight between the Indians and the Oakland Athletics. Dog lovers have brought their pets to the ballpark. That was a little chippy.
I'll tell you, they walked around the track all the way around the ballpark, and they've had a good time. Now it's up to the porch up in right field.
Justin Masterson takes the hill for the Tribe tonight. And let's look at the Oakland A's starting lineup. For Bob Guerin's club, Coco Crisp, Derek Barton, and Kurt Suzuki. Then it's Jack Cust, Mark Ellis, and Jeff Larish. Kevin Kuzmanoff, Gabe Gross, and Cliff Pennington round out the starting 9 for the Athletics.
Well, tonight's starting pitcher will be Justin Masterson, and he is brought to you by the Indians Team Shop, where you get 2 free mezzanine tickets for any home game when you spend $50. Justin making his 26th start this year. His record is 4-12, an ERA of 5.33. In his last start, game against the Detroit Tigers, he was shut out in that ball game, and Armando Galarraga 6-0. He went 6 innings, 11 hits, gave up 5 runs. He did walk 1 and struck out 5. And this year, 1 start against the A's. He lost that ball game. That came against Gio Gonzalez. You know what happened there. It was a shutout. Check out the defense behind Masterson tonight. It looks like this. In the outfield, it's Crow, Brantley, and Chu. On the infield, it'll be Nix, Cabrera, Balbuena's at second tonight, Laporte at first, and Marson is behind the dish.
All right, ready to go now as Coco Crisp steps in. And Justin Masterson's first pitch is outside for ball one. 71 degrees, our game time temperature here in downtown Cleveland tonight. Feels more like September 26th than August 26th as Coco grounds out to start the game. Bill Hahn calls the balls and strikes tonight. Crew chief Gary Darling down at first. Bruce Dreckman is at second. Paul Emmel down at third. Derek Barton has gone 2 for 7 in the series for Oakland. Offensively, the A's are a team that has struggled to score runs this year. But in the series opener, they belted an uncharacteristic 3 home runs to beat the Tribe. And then last night, a big 5-run first inning propelled them to the 6-1 win. But at the end of the day, it's still the A's pitching that is doing the job right now as they come in a game over the 500 mark, 2 down. With their 63 and 62 record, Oakland 8.5 games in back of front-running Texas. And if Oakland thought maybe this was their shot to get back in the race, well, they thought wrong because Texas has handed Minnesota 3 consecutive losses, and they're going for a 4-game sweep of that series tonight.
Yeah, Minnesota was playing well going into that series.
The problem is the White Sox haven't been able to make up any ground. They're still 3 games in back of Minnesota in the loss column. So if you're Minnesota, you've got to feel really good about the fact that you haven't played well. You're on the verge of getting swept, and yet you still have a 3-game cushion with your closest pursuer in the Central. Suzuki is swinging a miss. 1-1 the count.
Well, this is an Oakland club that's on a 10-game trip, and it doesn't get any easier from here. They go to Texas after this ball game for a 3-game series, and then on to New York for 4 after that. So this is a tough trip after they leave here.
Geographically, certainly not all that friendly. You fly from Oakland to Cleveland, down to Texas, and then all the way back up to New York.
And then all the way back. Yeah,
back home again.
You're exactly right. That's a tough trip.
Drive to right center. Brantley cruising into the gap. Makes the catch. A's go 1-2-3 on 8 pitches. Now the Tribe coming to bat when we come back.
It's kind of appropriate that the Dogs have their day here at the ballpark for Tribe baseball.
Well, they picked a beautiful day.
Indians starting 9 brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Proud to be the official auto insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians. Brantley, Cabrera, and Chu. Hafner, Nix, and Crow. Laporta, Valbuena, and Marson rounded out.
Vin Mazzaro making his start, his 16th start this year. It'll be his 19th appearance. He has pitched out of the pen, 6-5. He is on a personal 3-game losing streak. Hasn't won in his last 5 starts. But he's been effective. He's pitched at least 6 innings in his last 4 starts, never given up more than 3 earned runs. And, of course, that's the string that the starters have for the A's going, not giving up 3 earned runs or less.
Brantley with a fly ball to left field. Jack Cuss routine play, 1 away.
Let's check out that Oakland defense. They have struggled in this series. They have made 4 errors. In the outfield, it's going to be Custon left, Crisp in center, Gross is in right, Kuzminoff at third, Pennington at short, Ellis is at second, Barton at first with Suzuki behind the plate.
Mazzaro with a fastball, strike 2 is Drupal Cabrera, who is just 1 for 8 in the series.
Mazzaro in his career against the Indians is 1-1. Both starts, he had 1 last year, 1 this year, coming on July 4th in this ballpark. This year he beat him. He went 7 1/3, gave up 1 earned run. Last year he got beat. In 6 innings, gave up 5 earned runs.
Swung on and missed. Good fastball up around the letters. And it's 2-2. Swung on and foul tipped into the glove for a strikeout, 2 down. Our great clip of the game is brought to you by Great Clips. Shin-Soo Choo, one of the few Indians highlights last night, was a perfect 3 for 3 at the plate. Relax, you're at Great Clips.
Yeah, he swung the bat very well last night. He also walked in that game.
A little bit outside. Nope, caught the corner.
Last night, the A's, their last 8 outs in the ball game were all strikeouts. First time that has ever happened. Recorded 8 consecutive outs by strikeout for an Oakland staff.
The 1-1. Too far outside that time. 2-1 to count. Vin Mazzaro, native of New Jersey. Drafted by the A's out of high school back in 2005. Swung on and missed. 2-2 the count. In the air. Shallow center. Coco Crisp. Long way to go. The shortstop gets there. Pennington with a nice turnaround grab. And the Indians go 1-2-3. No score after 1. Subway, play hard, eat fresh. By Continental Airlines, work hard, fly right. And by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. Second inning here at Progressive Field, no score. Jack Cust, Mark Ellis, Jeff Larish due up for the Athletics. Jack Cust lifts a fly ball. Routine play and left for Trevor Crow. One quick out. Here's our PNC Bank Achievement of the Game.
There's
for the
Raymond.
Achiever in us all. First round pick of the try back in 1965. Twice an All-Star, twice a Gold Glove winner for the Indians.
Big Ray, couple-time world champion. He came to Cleveland after those world championships. He raised me, so if there's anything about me you don't like, you go tell Ray.
Came back again.
Yes, indeed. He was the first draft pick here by the Indians. That's when the draft started in 65.
He's still, like when you go up and talk to him, Shake, he's like solid as a rock.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, if you're not careful, he'll rip your arm out of your socket shaking your hand.
He's got those meat hooks like an old catcher. Ouch.
Mark Ellis gets drilled. And the A's have a one-out base runner now for Jeff Larish as Ellis limps down to first.
Well, that is the ninth guy that Masterson has hit. And his ball, you know, sometimes he has no idea where it's going. That one gets away. He is third in the league in walks with 67, third in the league in wild pitches with 11. And now that was his ninth hit batter.
Strike on the outside corner. Jeff Larish, the former Tiger, belted a home run in the first game of this series, 2 for 4. Did not play last night.
Well, he was the guy that had 2 errors in one play in that first game. Remember, he was at third base. He misplayed a ball and tried to make a good throw and had 2 errors on one play. But the Indians couldn't take advantage because there was 2 outs in the inning. But he did hit the 2-run homer.
Way outside. That fastball took off on him. 3-1 the count. There's a ground ball single in the left field. Larish gets the first hit of the game for Oakland, and they've got 2 aboard with 1 out. And Kevin Kuzminoff coming to the plate.
Well, you fall behind 3-1. If you're a hitter, you just got to look middle of the plate. Fastball, and that's what he does. See, it's 86. He takes something off to get it in the strike zone. And he slaps it the other way. So that is the first hit of the ball game. Kuzminoff, a guy that did some damage. The big 3-run double last night. He always hits the Indians well, doesn't he? 353 in his career. A couple of homers, 14 ribbies. This year, 286 with 8 RBI.
Stands deep in the box, and he turns it loose.
Yeah, he's a good low ball hitter. That's where he holds those hands. They're down. So he just drops the head of that bat, and he can run one in on him right there like Masterson's trying to do.
No balls, 2 strikes with 2 on and 1 out here in the second.
See those hands? They're down right around his shoulder. And he has a tough time getting through there. That ball moving in on you, but then again, a lot of right-handers have a tough time getting to Masterson's sinker.
He deals. And a swing and a miss. He strikes him out on 3 pitches. 2 down. He just kept it in on him, didn't he?
that's going to be a recipe. He could do that all night. Boy, he's going to have a hard time digging that out if you just keep it in there and bury him. So he will walk away. Masterson's first strikeout victim in the second out here in the second.
That replay really illustrates how much movement a good sinker has on it, with pretty good velocity at the same time. That's blooped to left, dropping in a hurry. Base hit coming around third. Mark Ellis going to try to score. Crow's throw to the plate, and he is safe at the dish. Ellis just able to beat the throw of Crow, and the A's take a 1-0 lead on a 2-out RBI single by Gabe Gross, his 22nd RBI on the year.
Well, there's 2 outs, so he's off and running as soon as that ball hits the bat. So that's why he was able to score. He's jammed on this pitch. In comes Crow. He gets it on the 1 hop and makes a throw. It's a good throw, but just you can see that foot gets on the plate before Marson can apply the tag. So again, the A's will take a 1-0 lead.
And it brings up Cliff Pennington with 2 on and 2 out. That hit by Gross, his first in the series. He and Pennington came in a combined 0 for 15 at the bottom of the order for Oakland. But he has his first hit, and the A's are on the board first here tonight, 2-0. What was that?
Good question.
Sounded like somebody stepped on their dog. 2-0 pitch. Outside, 3 balls, no strikes. That was like the loudest shrill I've ever heard.
Didn't sound like a dog to me.
The 3-0 pitch, and it's ball 4. So the bases are loaded with 2 down. Let's go to the top of the order. Coco Crisp, who grounded to third his first time up. Later tonight, Chuck's last call. Here on Sports Time Ohio, Chuck Coletti will take calls and emails right after the Conrad's postgame show. Chuck's last call, presented by PNC Bank here on Sports Time Ohio. Bases loaded, 2 down for Coco Crisp, who has swung the bat well in this series. Going 4 for 10. Hits this off the end of the bat foul. And Crisp came into this series swinging a pretty hot bat, and now, over his last 17 games, is hitting .377. And he's not just dinking them in. 6 doubles, 3 homers, 10 ribbies.
Yeah,
He's scored 14 times.
This is as well as I've seen him swing it in quite some time.
Pops this one up on the infield, though. Cabrera grabs it, and the A's leave him loaded. We go to the bottom of the second. It's now Oakland 1, Cleveland 0.
This is strange. I mean, I've never seen that before. Have you?
Ruh-roh. No, I can't say that I ever have. But the dogs are here tonight, and they're enjoying themselves. Had a nice little pregame walk around the warning track.
Surprised one of the wealthy dogs aren't sitting behind the dugout in the good seats.
Now, what kind of a dog would a wealthy dog be, would you suspect? That would be...
That'd be a little lap dog sitting with...
a little foo-foo kind of dog?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a Great Dane?
No.
Bounced it in there to Hafner. 2 balls and a strike. We saw Frank Herman on the field. He had his own personal dog taking a lap down there. His fiance brought his dog. Travis Hafner, he and his wife Amy, now they have a son, but before that their little baby was Rudy. He had that little terrier, Rudy. According to Travis, he's a killer. 3-1 the count. Oakland on top 1-0, bottom of the second. And a strike is called. Just did shave the outside corner. Full count.
He's going to turn back and ask Bill Hahn, okay, that caught the corner, and you're going to call that all night?
And the payoff pitch. Same spot. Got him to chase. And that's the second strikeout for Mazzaro, and that's exactly what you were just talking about. Travis Hafner asking, all right, is that a strike? You're going to call that a strike? Well, you force him to swing at anything close then.
Absolutely. Well, tomorrow night will be fireworks night here at the ballpark. Royals will be in town. The show will be synced to the music of the Beatles, and it's also half-price student ID night. That'll be tomorrow.
Jason Nix with 1 out here in the second. Takes a strike. Then Mazzaro, as I mentioned, out of Rutherford, New Jersey, had a scholarship offer to go to St. John's for college, but took the A's offer when they made him a third-round pick coming out of high school. 2 down now for Trevor Crow.
Was this the guy that had the batting cage, he and his dad?
No.
Okay, that was another guy from Jersey that I remember you talking about.
I'm trying to remember who that was now. That was somebody. It wasn't that long ago. We were just talking about.
I know.
Was it Toronto?
It might have been Toronto? Somebody from Jersey that helped his dad out in the batting cages.
Mazzaro, though, you look at his minor league career. First couple of years, I think they weren't sure what they had. His ERA was over 5 his first 2 years in professional baseball. Losing record. But then in 2008, at Midland in the Texas League, it kind of came together for him. He went 12-3 with a 1.90 ERA. Got the call up to AAA at the end of the year. Pitched in 6 games. Mixed results. And then last year, by 2009, then he had made his major league debut. And again, kind of mixed results. 4 wins, 9 losses, ERA 5.32.
Well, this is as they call him, the fifth Beatle here in this rotation. Because he stepped in June 8th to replace Brett Anderson when he was hurt.
Swung on and missed. He has struck out 3, and he is perfect through the first 2. 1-0 Oakland. We head now to the third inning. That's Jake the Diamond Dog, a special guest here tonight for Puppy Palooza.
You can track him down. We may have to sign him and put him in the outfield.
Yeah, except once you got the ball back from him, it'd be all slobbery.
It's all right. He can get it in. Get it in a hurry. The spitter.
Derek Barton looks at a ball down low. Fly to right his first time up. Justin Masterson cruised through the first inning on 8 pitches. Needed 19 to get through the second after loading the bases, and the A's got themselves on the board.
All started after he hit that batter.
Yeah, he had retired the first 4 in a row up until that point. 2-2 the count.
Now, you're going to have to throw this guy strikes. He doesn't swing at too many bad pitches, leads the league in walks. Barton, a very good eye at the plate. I mean, when you look at him as a first baseman, certainly not what you'd consider a corner guy with 5 home runs. His on-base percentage is good, though.
Popped him up. Third baseman, Jason Nix. 1 away. Time now for the AT&T trivia question. AT&T Rethink Possible. Who was the last player with 100 or more ribbies in a season while hitting less than 10 homers?
Oh, I think they ask that every year.
I remember we talked about this one time. Is it the guy with Baltimore? Didn't we talk about this? I remember we talked about somebody with Baltimore did it. I don't know if he's the last one to do it, though. A strike is called to Kurt Suzuki. Out of play. Suzuki flied to center his first time up, 0 for 9 in the series. Line drive to short, 2 down. That ball had smoke coming off of it. Our Subway Fresh Face of the Game is brought to you by Subway. Play hard, eat fresh. Jason Knapp, 5 innings of 1-hit baseball, striking out a half dozen. Pretty good debut in Lake County for the right-hander, who was part of the Cliff Lee package from Philadelphia. Strike called to Jack Cust, who flied to left his first time up. The 0-1.
Got him.
Sure did. Hit him on the leg, and now Cust is the second A's batter to be hit by a pitch tonight.
Trying to go inside with him. This ball, it was down and in. They call it the back foot slider. That looks like it got him on the front foot.
Yeah.
Right around the ankle. So Jack Cust will take his base with 2 outs.
And Mark Ellis, who was hit by a pitch his first time up, steps to the plate. Good off-speed pitch, way out in front. One and one to count. 40 pitches now for Masterson with 2 down here in the third. Hard to get comfortable the way he's in and out tonight.
Well, he hits you the first time up, and then he comes back on the next at-bat and drops a breaking ball in. He brushes you back with another fastball and then throws another slider. So, yeah, you're not going to be too comfortable in the batter's box. Those shoes will be on top of the dirt. You're not going to dig in.
Outside with it, 2-2.
That's the thing. I mean, Justin can go out there. You said would he have an 8-pitch first inning? And consistency is the thing you want to see from him. He'll go out there and he can lose that release point as quick as anybody.
That finds the seats, and the inning stays alive for Mark Ellis.
Send along some birthday wishes. How about Chet Hogan out of Elyria is turning 90. Ray Cotto, senior of Concord Township, is 80. Kim Roach out of Bay Village is turning 39. Kim, happy birthday to you. And Riley Nemi of Canal Fulton is 8 years old today. And Riley's at the ballpark. Happy birthday to you.
All kind of birthdays in the STO family tonight. The 2-2. Struck him out looking, and the inning is over. Masterson with a couple of punch-outs tonight, but it's Oakland with the upper hand so far. They lead it 1-0. On top 1-0. And it will be the bottom third of the Indians' order due up here. Matt Laporta, Luis Valbuena, and Lou Marson to face Vin Mazzaro. And Laporta shoots it foul out of play to the right. The 0-1 missed outside. Art Mackey is celebrating his 86th birthday tonight. Low and away. His daughter Paula Hall sent a message that says her dad Art is from Ashland. Two-one pitch and a high pop. Foul ground, long run to get there. Gross and Ellis, and nobody's going to catch that one. Unless you're wearing a leash, maybe you had a chance. Although the dogs they're pushed back up, right? They're up in the
Can you
right
imagine
field
if you had
corner.
one trained to go get the foul balls?
Oh, that'd be a show in itself.
He's not pushed back up there. Tough to watch the game that way. Hey, can you sit down in front, please?
Excuse me, could you move your Weimaraner? That is a big dog.
What's that, a boxer?
I don't know. I look like a veterinarian?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Dr. Underwood.
Swung on and missed. Bat goes flying. And Laporta strikes out. That's 4 Ks for Mazzaro. And 1 down here in the home half of the third.
There's the breaking ball. And out front, you see, he tried to keep everything back, and the bat just flies out of his hand.
Here is Luis Valbuena getting the start tonight. Valbuena hitting 160 on the year, covering 188 at bats. Big bouncer over the head of the third baseman Kuzminov. And Valbuena has the Indians' first hit of the night. That was a crazy hopper that really took off when it hit the ground.
I want to see if it did not hit that lip out in front home plate where the grass and the dirt meet, because it looked like it hit something awfully hard and took a bounce, like on AstroTurf. You see, that's a high bounce. That had to hit a lip right there. It was close. It was close because that thing bounced high and over the head of Kuzminov at third. It'll be the Indians' first hit tonight.
Here is Lou Marson, hitless in the series. Looks at ball 1.
They've got a microphone somewhere.
Strike at the knees, and the count 1-1. Valbuena back easily. Valbuena only has 1 stolen base on the year. He's been caught a couple of times. But with 1 out here in the third, might be a good opportunity to put him in motion.
Why not? Open that hole.
He holds, and it's just a little bit outside. 3 balls and a strike. Again, Valbuena, very modest lead at first. And he goes on the 3-1 pitch. It's ball 4. 2 on with 1 out, top of the order now.
Well, you can step up to the plate for Big League BP. That'll be Friday, September 3rd, right here at Progressive Field. You can take a live batting practice from Len Barker, plus enjoy a meet and greet dinner with Lenny behind home plate. Tickets are on sale now. Call 216-420-HITS for full information. September 3rd, we head out on the road. That'll be after we play Chicago, Wednesday day game, and head out to the West Coast. Last West Coast trip.
Michael Brantley looks at strike 1. Flied to left his first time up tonight. And another strike. 0-2 the count. So Mazzaro, after walking the number 9 hitter, Mazzaro after walking the number 9 hitter, Marson, comes back and throws 2 quick strikes to the leadoff man, Michael Brantley.
Well, that's Brantley. He's a patient guy, but there's a fastball that he throws by you. Well, he puts you down 0-2, but as we've said before, it doesn't seem like Brantley minds hitting with 2 strikes. But you get guys in scoring position, boy, and I want to see that good first pitch. You got to get a good whack at it.
Now the 1-2. Hit on the ground to third. Kuzmanov to second for 1, and the relay is in time. They go all the way around the horn for a 5-4-3 double play to end the inning. And after 3, it's Oakland 1, Cleveland nothing. Here at the ballpark tonight.
Look at the shades.
That's not a dog. Is that a dog?
Yeah. Well.
Is that the Yokiero Taco Bell?
That's right. Look at the glasses. Day game, huh? He's an outfielder. You got to go on the field with your glasses. You don't want to lose it in the sun.
Jeff Larish, Kevin Kuzmanoff, Gabe Gross due up for Oakland here in the 4th. Larish, big swing, high fly ball. Deep to left. Back goes Crow. 1 away. Time now for our Cabot Woodstain legendary performance. On this date in 1987, my partner ruined it for Paul Molitor. His hitting streak came to an end because Arch came off the bench as a pinch hitter, and he said, let's get out of here. I want to win this thing. Gets the base hit off Doug Jones in extra innings, and it's a 1-0 Milwaukee lead, and Molitor was on deck. But he had 4 chances to get a hit in that game.
John Farrell started that game for the Indians. Doug Jones on in relief. He did have 4 chances. Ended up being a 1-0 game. It's the only time I've seen a guy get a hit to win a game and booed. See, there's Juan Nieves. There's Molitor right there.
Look at that mullet you're sporting right there. Wow.
23 years ago, pal. That's when I had hair. They didn't even allow me in Wisconsin.
Look at that. Uh-huh. Two-1 is down low. 3 balls and a strike.
That was a long time ago.
I still get a kick out of the fact that no matter where we go during the course of the season, it's several times a year, someone will come up and ask you about that. It's almost like you've become known for doing something
Yeah,
good.
like I was pitching.
Like you did something wrong.
Right. I stopped Paul Baller's hitting streak, and I got a base hit. I mean, so how do you stop a hitting streak when you don't even pitch?
That's exactly right.
Unbelievable.
You're the guy. You blew it, Manning. You blew it.
Only appropriate.
Payoff pitch hammered to right center field. Brantley's not going to catch that. But he will play it well off the fence. And Kuzmanov has to hurry into second base, sliding in with a 1-out double.
First extra base hit tonight, and he didn't get that. He didn't keep that in. Remember, we showed the first time he faced Kuzmanov, he ran that sinker in. Let's see what he does here. See where that one is? Out over the plate. He gave him a little swinging room, and that might have been a changeup. Only 83 miles per hour is what I'm thinking. Boy, he pounded him in and did a great job that first time for the strikeout. Made a mistake, took a little bit off, and Kuzmanov gets him the second time.
Gabe Gross, an RBI single with 2 outs in the second inning, accounting for the only run in this game. Two and one the count with a runner at second and one down here in the fourth. Swung out and missed. In the air, left field near the line. Trevor Crow makes the grab, and that is out number 2. That'll bring up Cliff Pennington, who drew a walk in his first at bat. And a strike called to Cliff Pennington. Going back to that at bat you had in that game against the Indians, you said you step in the box as a pinch hitter. Molitor's on deck, and you said the first pitch is a called strike, but you said it was kind of borderline. It looked like it was a ball, and yet the crowd was cheering. The Milwaukee fans were cheering because you had a strike called against you.
Right.
And right then you said, wait a minute, something's strange
I
here.
looked down. I thought I was back in an Indians uniform. And I says, wait a minute. I'm playing for the Brewers, and they're cheering. They threw a strike, and I didn't swing. They want me to make an out. Well, you know how I am. So I says, well, that's not going to happen then.
Oh, boy.
So I proceeded to go up, and I was looking for a changeup away. The first pitch was a fastball in. Got the changeup away and slapped it by. That was Julio playing shortstop, Franco. And they had Mike Felder running he could fly. So all it had to do was get to the outfield grass, and you knew he was going to score.
One-two pitch outside.
I mean, it was a good game. 1-0, 10 innings.
People also may have forgotten that in that game, the pitching, the starting pitching, was phenomenal. It was Juan Nieves and John Farrell.
Teddy Higuera.
Oh, that's right.
Teddy Higuera and John Farrell, right. And Higuera had about I think a 31 or 33 game consecutive inning streak, shutout. He ended up winning the game.
He pitched all 10 innings.
Yes, he did.
Popped him up. Foul ground. Nix called off by Cabrera. And the inning is over. We'll go to the bottom of the fourth. It's still Oakland 1, Cleveland nothing. One zip, A's on top as we go to the bottom of the fourth here at Progressive Field, the world's largest outdoor veterinary clinic. Dogs are having a great time. But the Oakland A's pitching still holding the upper hand in this series. Vin Mazzaro, where they called strike two, as Drupal Cabrera.
They've just, handled the Indians all year long. The first trip we made out to Oakland, they shut us out twice out of the 3-game series there. And it's just been a tough year to battle these A's pitchers.
Bloop toward left field, but there to make the catch is Jack Cust for out number one. $5,820. That's how much we've raised so far this year for the Gathering Place when the Indians homer. Gathering Place, a wonderful, caring community that helps both the individual and their family members while battling cancer. They do this with programs offered free of charge from 2 locations, one on the east side in Beechwood, one on the west side in Westlake. Make a donation yourself. Log on to touchedbycancer.org, or simply, if you need to learn more about the Gathering Place, if you know someone who has cancer, or maybe you yourself, it's a fantastic organization, and they do great work. Chu with the tapper towards short. Pennington guns him out. 2 down. That'll bring up Travis Hafner, who struck out his first time up. Here's Hafner, struck out his first time up.
He had the count in his favor last time. 3-1 pitch was called a strike on the outside corner. He looked at Bill Hahn, and then he swung at a pitch out off the plate to strike out. But looked like he was staying away with everything. If he goes inside, may show him in off the dish.
Two-strike pitch. Down and in.
Wanted him to chase that slider down. You see Suzuki wanted it down. It was a good pitch.
Fouled out of play. Mentioned earlier that Vin Mazzaro early in his career had a tough time when it came to wins, and his ERA was over 5 in his first 2 professional seasons with the A's organization, and that caused him to bounce around as far as what people thought of him as a prospect. Hafner socks this one to right center field. Coco Crisp will hold Pronk to a 2-out single. Fastball belt high, and Pronk just turned it around.
He made a mistake there. 2 strikes, went down in the zone, but that one is not going to get by him.
But you got a guy like Mazzaro who comes out 3rd-round pick, and his first spring training immediately, Baseball America ranks him as the 9th best prospect in the A's organization. Then after 2 years where he's below 500, ERA's over 5, he drops down to the 18th best prospect. And then he bounces back with a 12-win season, ERA of 190, goes from 18th back up to 8th.
You know,
so people who say, don't look at the numbers, well, maybe sometimes a lot of people do look at the numbers when it comes to rating these guys.
You know, with young pitchers in the minor leagues, sometimes it takes a little while longer than others for the light to go off, or something may click in 1 year or one start or a pitch, you know, that they can throw, maybe a changeup or something that they get a feel for. You know, it takes pitchers, young pitchers, some time. And, you know, every level going up the ladder is an adjustment.
Well, Nick, the good news for Mazzaro, and the A's for that matter, is that he hasn't really had to deal with any arm issues. You know, we talked earlier about Hector Rondon having to undergo Tommy John surgery. For Indians fans who haven't heard.
Well, the way you look at it, yeah, now it's like when will he have arm surgery? It's almost like everybody does get it sooner or later.
Here's a guy, Mazzaro, who was drafted in 05, pitching here in the big leagues in 2010, and he's had one little bout with tendonitis last year, and that's been it. 1-2. Line drive left center field. That's in the alley. Coco Crisp slides and cuts it off. Into third is Hafner. He'll get the stop sign there, and Coco with a terrific defensive play saved a run for at least a moment. Because if he doesn't cut it off, Hafner can come around and score.
That's exactly what he was trying to do, is just knock that ball down and don't let it get to the gap, because with 2 outs, Hafner would have had a chance to score. At least Steve Smith would have sent him. He leaves a breaking ball up. Nix takes advantage of it. And watch Coco get over there and slide. He ends up catching the ball cleanly. He actually just wanted to try and knock it down, but gets it in, and he did save a run right there.
Sometimes we've seen guys go into that slide and actually kick the ball.
Right.
And that can allow you to come around and score, too.
It's tough when you're on the move sometimes to make that catch. He fielded cleanly, and it saves the run. It certainly does.
Let's see if Trevor Crowe, though, can come through. Looks at the ball down low, struck out his first time up. Up high with a heat. 2-0 the count. Trevor just 1 for 9 in the series. But he has been one of the Indians' better hitters with runners in scoring position this year. But he's struggled in these situations of late. For a good portion of the series, Crow was well above 300 with runners in scoring position, but he's dropped down to 288.
Well, you get those chances, and as we've said all year long, the toughest hit to get is the 2-out base hit, although the Indians have done well in it this year. That's a tough hit to get.
And a line drive to short, going to a knee to grab it is Pennington. And the rally falls short here. Indians get a couple of hits, strand a pair. And after 4, it's still Oakland 1, Cleveland nothing. Pack 50 Chicken McNuggets for $9.99. McDonald's, I'm loving it. By KeyBank. Stop in and start a conversation and unlock your possibilities. And by Panini's. Now open in Chagrin Falls, Solon, and Brunswick. Visit PaninisGrill.com. It's a 1-zip Oakland lead as we go now to the 5th inning. And Coco Crisp leads off, takes a strike. 0 for 2 tonight. Grounded out and popped out. I keep thinking at some point we're going to hear the Baja Men. Who let the dogs out?
Yeah, I'm sure we will. That may be for 7th inning stretch.
I remember several years ago, back in 2000, that became the Seattle Mariners theme song. So much so that the Baja Men, I remember they came to Safeco Field and performed live. In the air to left field, Trevor Crow has it, 1 down. It's one of those goofy things where song takes off and takes on a life of its own. Here's our league leaders, 5-star league leaders, brought to you by the GMC Sierra. Never send a truck to do a Sierra's job. 80 free passes for Derek Barton, who is 0 for 2 tonight. Now, he is more of that classic Oakland A's style.
Right, the old
hitter.
style. I'm surprised that he has more than Miguel Cabrera. You know, in that situation, I would think that Cabrera would have more walks, or he should be leading the league.
Still got a month to go.
That's true.
And again, you have to wonder how often teams will pitch to him. There's a base hit from Barton. Let's go back to the studios right now for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski.
All right, Matt, Rick, it's milestone time for Albert Pujols and the St. Louis Cardinals. They were down 3-1 to Washington, but he goes yard for the 400th time in his career, third youngest player to ever do it. Cards now lead at 5-3 over the Nats. They've come back with 4 runs in the 4th. Back to you.
So Albert, 400
Yes,
home runs.
Indeed. Well, it's 30, 35 a year.
70 pitches on the night for Justin Masterson, and he drops a strike in on Kurt Suzuki, who is 0 for 2 tonight.
This is his, 10th year in the big leagues, and he has 400 already. Not too shabby.
Suzuki 0 for 10 in the series, but he did hit the ball hard his last time up, but he lined it right at the shortstop as Drupal Cabrera. Now the set by Masterson on the 1-2. Fouls it right back. Way outside to even the count.
Suzuki ready to turn the page on the month of August.
Oh, boy, is he ever.
I mean, and, he's starting to swing the bat better in this series compared to the first game we saw him. Oh, and he caught him.
Had him hung up between first and second now, and Cabrera will put the tag on Eric Barton. 2 down.
Thought he had him timed, and he took off, and Masterson was just going to hold that ball a little while longer, so he steps off, get rid of it, give it to Laporta, to Cabrera, 1-3-6 on the putout, that are caught stealing.
And so, 2 down. Base is empty now. And a 2-2 count on Kurt Suzuki. Struck him out. 3 Ks for Masterson on the night. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. It remains 1-0 Oakland. Zip Oakland. Puppy Palooza at Progressive Field. Dogs of all shapes and sizes here tonight.
Well, instead of watching TV and with your puppy or your dog at home, they're bringing them out to the ballpark. Enjoying a beautiful night.
Backhanded by Pennington. Long throw. And on one hop, he gets Laporta. One down.
Well, he goes in the hole and makes a nice play. And you can see him plant, one hop it. But Laporta, boy, he might be one of the slower Indians getting down the line. It was a nice play by Pennington.
There's Luis Valbuena with a base hit his first time up. He chopped one out in front of the plate, took a big hop over the head of third baseman Kevin Kuzminoff back in the third. Outside corner, a called strike to even the count of 1-1. This scoreboard update is brought to you by Wendy's. You know when it's real, Wendy's. Wide of the mark. That ball is solidly hit to center field. Coco Crisp with a terrific diving backhanded catch to take a knock away from Valbuena.
Yeah, that's a tough play because you're coming in on your backhand side, and he has to have it out in front of him. And that body is going to carry over the catch. Beautifully done. Nice play. Takes a hit away from Valbuena. So that backhand went right down to the ground and then gets over top of it. Got to get that arm underneath you so you can roll.
Exactly, and then that's the one thing I noticed there, the very acrobatic at the end, how he turned his wrist. Because if you roll the other way on your wrist, then you've got problems.
Well, that's a nice play. Get that momentum going, but you're right. You've got to get it underneath and just continue to roll with it. That ball gets by him. It's extra bases. It's a long way gone.
The Detroit Tigers are turning the tables on the Toronto Blue Jays tonight. Tigers lead the Jays 6-0. It's the Tigers going deep. 2-run shot and a 3-run homer for Detroit. Chop just foul up the third baseline. Twins and Rangers, White Sox and Orioles just underway in those games. The 2-2 from Mazzaro is outside, full count. Just over the 70 pitch mark for the Oakland right-hander. Up high, ball 4. So a 2-out walk. He's walked the number 9 hitter both times tonight. The only walks he's allowed.
Well, the Kansas City Royals are in this weekend, and if you come out to the ball game Saturday night, all fans will receive a Grady Sizemore number 24 cap. That is courtesy of Strickland's Frozen Custard. Call 216-420-HITS for the tickets.
Runner goes, throw down to second base. Ball rolls free. I think Marson might have been called out if Ellis hung on to the ball, because it looked like Bruce Dreckman was waiting. And when the ball rolled free, he finally signaled safe. Another look, courtesy of Saucony Shoes, dedicated to inspiring every runner every day. At Saucony, we run.
That's his 6th stolen base this year. He's not been caught. Not bad, huh, for a catcher? 2 outs. They figure, let's go. They're not going to pay attention to the catcher, and he steals a base, gets himself in scoring position. Good job.
Michael Brantley 0 for 2 on the night. The 2-0. Shaved the outside corner with it. 2 balls and a strike. Out goes Kurt Suzuki. Vin Mazzaro started this game tonight with the highest ERA of the 5 starters in Oakland's rotation at 3.56.
Fifth beetle.
How about that? 3.56, and he's that's a high ERA for our rotation. He's dropped it down to 3.41 so far tonight.
You know, that's the competition that you build and thrive on when you have those starters going out there every day. You know, you're competing against each other. One guy goes out, and now it's like, hey, we're not going to give up 3 runs.
You don't want to be the 5th beetle.
No, you do not want to be the 5th beetle, is right.
Gets away from Suzuki, and down to 3rd goes Lou Marson on the wild pitch. Not really anything Suzuki could do there. Now the Indians are 90 feet away from tying the game up.
Down and in, breaking ball, and it just climbed the ladder. That spin hit the heel of the glove, hit the chest protector, deflects off. Still, in this series, and it seems like for the last 5 games, anytime the Indians have had opportunities, it's been with 2 outs. They haven't been able to get anything going to give them a chance.
Now the 3-2. Hammered to right field, and the Indians tie the game. Michael Brantley with a 2-out RBI single knots the game at 1 apiece. His 15th run batted in on the year. And it's the first earned run allowed by Oakland in this series.
It's going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. It's a 2-out base hit. It's a breaking ball. He left it on the inside part of the plate trying to throw it for a strike, and Brantley right there. He got him out on a breaking ball in his last at-bat to get him to hit into the double play. But this time, this one stayed on a flat plane, and Michael drilled it into right field. So we have a new ball game. 15th RBI for Brantley.
As Drupal Cabrera for 2 is the batter now.
So really, this 2-out stolen base, the walk actually hurt. He walked the 9th place hitter, and then Lou steals 2nd. Wild pitches him to 3rd, so Mazzaro actually gives him that run, although took a big and a nice hit from Michael Brantley.
Cabrera checks on a ball that's up high. And Vin Mazzaro is about to make his 80th pitch of the night now. Two balls, no strikes. Could get an indication into just how well that ankle is feeling if Brantley takes off here. He holds, and Cabrera with a base hit into right field. Brantley has to stop at 2nd because Gross got to it quickly. But 3 straight have reached for the Indians after the first 2 were retired here in the inning. They've tied the game, now a chance to take the lead. as Kurt Young, the pitching coach, will go to the mound and talk to Vin Mazzaro as Shin-Soo Choo is headed to the plate.
His mistakes are coming on the inside part of the plate to the left-handers, and they're taking advantage of them. This one was a fastball that Cabrera gets to. Brantley has to stop at second. Kurt Young will take the walk out, have a talk to his young pitcher before he faces Choo. The Indians now about hit the Athletics 5-4.
Well, let's see if Choo can deliver. 0 for 2 tonight, but 4 for 9 in the series after his 3-hit performance last night. Choo with a fly ball. Shallow left, diving to make the catch is Jack Cust. And the inning is over. Well, the Indians get on the board, but after 5, we are all tied up at 1. Sixth inning here at Progressive Field, tied at 1. For Oakland, Jack Cust, Mark Ellis, and Jeff Larish due up here. That dog's got attitude.
He's got a presence.
He announces his presence with
that.
authority.
He's got that look. You do something wrong, bub.
Don't mess with me. Pitch up high.
You know, Cuss normally the DH. He's made a couple good plays out in left field tonight.
He himself has flied out to left, and he was hit by a pitch. Strike is called, 3-1. Justin Masterson, 80 pitches on the night. Swung on and missed, full count. The only real rough patch tonight for Justin was in the second inning, when he got out of a bases loaded 2-out jam. Walks the leadoff man to start the sixth. And that's the first time tonight Oakland has had their leadoff man on base. Our Northern Ohio Toyota dealers game recap. 2-out RBI single by Gabe Gross drove home Mark Ellis in that second inning. And then Michael Brantley ties it up for the Tribe with a 2-out RBI knock in the bottom of the fifth. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. Rajay Davis coming on the pinch run for Jack Cust.
Well, we'll see how long he stays there.
Not long.
I knew it wouldn't be.
Marson couldn't find the ball anyway. He had no chance to throw him out.
That's, a good double switch right there, because in the tie game, late in the ball game, he's not only going in for defense, but you can steal a base, and he wastes no time. He takes off on the very first pitch, and Marson on the transfer couldn't get it out. For Davis, his 38th stolen base.
Mark Ellis scored the only run for Oakland back in that second inning. You saw it a moment ago. Bunts at third base side, foul. And you pointed out, I believe it was last night or the night before, when he steals a base, he does it. Not that he doesn't have good instincts, but he's just one of those pure speed guys.
Acceleration after the first step.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He is picking them up and putting them down in a hurry.
Yeah, there's a difference between a fast runner and a base stealer. This guy he's after the first or second step, he's top end.
Yeah, it was in the first game of the series. He stole a base in the sixth inning. And Marson got off a great throw. And he still stole the base.
Yeah. Yeah, he's fun to watch. He gets on it. And this is all part of their offense. They have to. They don't hit home runs. Coco's got to steal 20. They've got 3 guys on the ball club that have stolen 20 bases.
Chopper towards short. That'll allow Davis to get over to third.
Job well done.
1 down. Tonight's Miller Taste Greatness moment. Right here. On this date, what year was this? 1997. Mark McGwire hit it off the Budweiser sign. Hit it off the E in the Budweiser sign. There you see it. Just clipped right below the E. And the funny thing about that, I remember the very next day during batting practice.
I was just going to
Sandy Alomar walked all the way up to the top of the bleachers, about where John Adams normally sits with his drum up there, and stood up there at the top of the bleachers and just waved his arms down at everybody on the field during batting practice, said, "Hey, Oral."
Yeah.
This is how far McGwire hit that ball yesterday.
Boy, did he ever.
Swung out and missed. Marson bluffing a throw toward third. 0-2 the count. And then, Rick, wasn't it the very next year, or was it 2 years later, he came back and hit it off the pole that holds the scoreboard on the left side, one of the vertical poles.
I got you.
And that was a long blast, too.
Yeah, it was.
Infield in. 0-2 pitch. Popped up. Nix, foul ground. 2 down. Knowing what we know now about McGwire, what he's admitted to, they're still impressive. To see a guy hit a ball that far is still amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's like hitting a golf ball. That's how far it went.
But, again, knowing what we know, I don't know if it takes away from the majestic nature of those kind of home runs, or if it just builds the old-time guys, Frank Howard, Mickey Mantle, guys who hit tape measure shots.
Well, yeah, that hit them just as far. And they weren't
way
on
before
the juice.
anybody ever heard of steroids.
That's exactly right.
There's
Boy,
a drive into the
this
gap,
guy.
and Kevin Kuzminoff is continuing to have a big series against his former club.
Watch where this pitch is. I guarantee it's down that didn't get in.
His second double of the night. He is now 4 hits in 7 at-bats in the series.
Look at this. Doesn't get it in.
And all 4 hits have been for extra bases.
And it's down. This guy has notoriously come back to haunt the Indians, gets his second double, and also this base hit drives in the second run. So they retake the lead.
3 doubles and a triple in the series for Kuzminoff. And now Gabe Gross, 1 for 2. His 2-out RBI hit in the second gave Oakland their first lead. Valbuena will throw him out to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Oakland back on top 2-1. He's a killer, I'm telling you. 2-1 Oakland.
Attention. Speak.
Rajay Davis stays in the game in left field now for Oakland. Gives him some speed in the outfield. Travis Hafner, Jason Nix, Trevor Crow. Vin Mazzaro misses outside, ball 1. Hafner 1 for 2, a single back in the 4th inning. In the air center field. Coco already was playing pretty deep. Easy play, 1 down. Answer to our AT&T trivia question right now. AT&T Rethink Possible. I don't even remember what the question was. Oh, yeah. 100 ribbies, less than 10 homers. Paul Molitor.
96, okay.
Ground ball to short. Cliff Pennington. Throws out Nix. 2 down. Browns Trips packs are now available. Get tickets to the biggest matchups of the season, including sold-out games. Build your own ticket plan by choosing 3 games for as little as $99. Call 440-824-3434 or visit clevelandbrowns.com for more information. Trevor Crowe 0 for 2 tonight. There's the 0-1. Down on the dirt. A ball and a strike. Crowe shoots at the left field, a base hit with 2 outs here in the 6th inning. And he is 1 for 3 tonight.
Again, here we go. You're starting it with 2 outs.
Well, let's shoot it back to the studio real quick for an in-game update. Al has the latest on that Twins-Rangers matchup in Texas.
That's right, Matt. The Rangers going for the 4-game sweep of the Twins, but Minnesota off to a good start here, top of the 2nd inning. Delman Young with his 16th home run of the year. It's a 3-run blast, and it's 3-0 Twins. Top of the 3rd now in Arlington. Matt, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Al. Yeah, we've talked about that before. We've seen it many times. It's very, very difficult to sweep a 4-game series. There's a drive, deep left field by Matt Laporta, way up and gone to Souvenir City for Matt Laporta. A 2-out, 2-run blast puts the Indians on top, 3-2. Laporta's 8th home run of the year. RBIs number 30 and 31.
Well, there's one they needed. There's a ball he leaves middle of the plate, and Laporta doesn't miss it. Boy, they needed a spark, and there it is with 2 outs, one that leaves the ballpark. Crowe got a 2-out single. Laporta gives the Indians a 3-2 lead. Just what they needed. That may loosen them up in there a little bit.
Valbuena pops one foul into the seats. First homer for Laporta since August the 8th. And it's his 8th of the season. Now it's nice for the Indians to be able to come right back and answer. It was 1-0 Oakland until the Tribe tied it with a 2-out base hit by Michael Brantley in the bottom of the 5th. Oakland came right back to regain the lead in the top of the 6th. And now in the bottom of the 6th, the Indians answer back with the 2-out, 2-run homer from Matt Laporta. So a lot of 2-out damage here tonight. Backed all of it. Pushed him off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Next pitch will be number 5 for Vin Mazzaro. Good off-speed pitch, strikes out Valbuena, and the inning is over. But Matt Laporta's 2-out, 2-run blast puts the Indians on top for the first time. 3-2 Cleveland. Baseball is brought to you by AT&T. Find out more of what's possible at att.com. AT&T, rethink possible. By the Sierra from GMC. Never send a truck to do a Sierra's job. And by Wendy's. You know when it's real. Wendy's. Indians on top now by a score of 3-2 as we go to the 7th inning. Justin Masterson went 6 innings tonight for the Tribe, allowing 2 runs on 5 hits. Walked a couple, struck out 3, hit a pair. But all in all, you have to say he pitched pretty well. And now I'll turn it over to this Indians bullpen. Our H.H. Gregg pitching change. Rafael Perez has been one of the Indians' top relievers this year.
Well, he's on here in the 7th inning, 56th time. He is 4-0. The Indians bullpen has done a nice job recently, so now it's time to try and hold on for a win for Justin Masterson for just the 5th time this year. We've got 9 outs to go.
Cliff Pennington, a switch hitter. 0 for 1 tonight. Walked back in the 2nd inning. Stays, no balls, and 2 strikes. Didn't miss by much, but it's off the mark. 1-2 the count. Pennington, then Coco Crisp, and Derek Barton due up here for Oakland in the 7th. Swung on and missed. Perez gets the strikeout. 1 down.
Well, the Tribe of the Royals will hook up tomorrow through Sunday, and you can save big with Wahoo Bucks from Subway. You buy a $5 footlong and receive a Wahoo Bucks good for $5 off lower and upper box tickets to all 3 games. Stop by a participating Subway today.
Coco Crisp 0 for 3 tonight. Broke his bat. Brantley makes the grab in center. The handle of the bat stayed right at home plate in Coco's hand. The barrel spun out just past the pitcher's mound. 2 away. And it will bring up Derek Barton, who is 1 for 3 tonight. Barton does not offer, and it's a called strike. Now, this is what's so remarkable about the turnaround of Rafael Perez, is that he throws strikes. I mean, it's one thing to have a lot of movement and have that nasty slider, and we all know about that, but you still have to be able to throw it for strikes, or at least throw a pitch for strikes that's not, right down the middle of the plate. And when he was lost, he couldn't throw it. First of all, he had trouble just throwing it anywhere near the plate, let alone over the plate.
Well, and you can see before the break an ERA of over 4, and since he's been lights out, and he's pitching from in front of the count where he has hitters down, and he's able to get those guys to chase his pitches, as opposed they can get a little more discipline.
Coming in, Trevor Crowe makes the running catch, and another strong outing for Rafael Perez sets him down 1, 2, 3. Stretch time in Cleveland. 3-2 Tribe. Well, the Baja men making their appearance here in the 7th inning. You called it. You said 7th inning.
I figured it had to be.
Who let the dogs out? Well,
Matt Laporta.
Yeah, he let the dogs out. Going
sure
deep.
Did.
Class of 56. They're here cheering on the Tribe. Indians with a 3-2 advantage as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Ben Mazzaro stays in there for Oakland. Lou Marson, Michael Brantley as Drupal Cabrera. He's walked Marson both times he's faced him. It's the only 2 walks he's allowed in the game. Hard ground ball hit to the second baseman, Ellis. And Marson is out, number 1.
Well, school has started, and if you are interested, you want to stop into an Indians team shop and get your back-to-school supplies and gear. You'll receive a Major League Baseball pack with your purchase of $125 or more, so come on in while supplies are limited.
Well, we've got a timeout here at Progressive Field. Vin Mazzaro out after 6 1/3 innings and allowing 3 runs on the night. We'll be back 3-2, Tribe on top. to the Oakland A's bullpen, and their first relief pitcher of the night is left-hander Jerry Blevins.
Came in the first game of this series, went the ninth inning, and had a 1-2-3 inning. 40 strikeouts in his 41 and a third innings this year.
One ball and one strike. Brantley with a big 2-out RBI hit that got the Indians on the board in the fifth inning. Popped up. Foul ground. Kuzminoff and Pennington. Pennington calls him off and makes the grab. 2 down. The high school football season begins tomorrow afternoon on STO, and Mike Cairns returns to host the Ohio High School Kickoff Show at 3:30. He'll get you ready for the season by looking at the top games around the state. And then tomorrow night at 11, tune in for the first Notre Dame College High School Game of the Week as Canfield takes on Aurora. It's all right here on Sports Time Ohio. Two down for Asdrubal Cabrera, who was 1 for 3 on the night. There's a drive deep to center. Coco back, and he will run it down right in front of the track for out number 3. Drive goes in order. We go to the 8th, 3-2 Cleveland.
Be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
That is a big dog.
6 feet tall. He's going to get whatever he's got in that hand, I guarantee you.
Scooby's neck? The final dog count, for those of you wondering, 269 puppies in the house tonight.
Some were puppies, some were big ones. Joe Smith coming on now for the Tribe after Perez gives him a solid inning. Struck out 1. It's up to Joe Smith now to try and hold it. He will be appearing for the 39th time. He's going to face Suzuki, Davis, and Ellis. Marte goes in at third base to play a little defense.
Kurt Suzuki 0 for 3 tonight. And hitless in 11 at-bats in the series. And he'll be followed by Rajay Davis and Mark Ellis here in the 8th. Tony Sipp loosening in the Tribe bullpen if needed. Suzuki got that one right off his front foot.
I was going to say, he can't have any worse of a series for him. And it's not going to get any easier. As we said, they go to Texas and New York from here, but he fouls that ball down right off his foot and will go down.
Boy, how about St. Louis? They had the early lead. Albert Pujols hit his 400th home run, and Washington's come back to take a 6-5 lead on the Cardinals in that game. Valbuena calling forward at second base. One down. Got to be frustrating times for Tony La Russa in St. Louis. They've got a heck of a team, but they can't get out of their own way. They lost 7 out of 10 coming in, 3.5 games in back of the Reds in the NL Central.
Yeah, and the Reds aren't going anywhere.
Meanwhile, Arizona, last place in the West, is just tattooing the Western Division leaders, San Diego, 11-1. Now, there's a case where San Diego, a 76-win team, is getting throttled by a 78-loss team.
Well, yeah, you're having one of those days. It's turning into a laugher.
But the joke seems to be on everybody else in the West, because San Diego began the day with a 6.5 game lead over San Francisco. Davis takes a strike. Bill Hahn raises the right hand. Evens a count of 2-2. Chris Perez now up and just starting to get loose. They appealed down to first base, but Davis did not go, and the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out here in the 8th inning.
Well, he was sinking away.
Ooh.
I know that barrelhead came down. That was close.
A lot closer than I initially thought. Took a full cut there. Fouls it right back. Right back to the screen. Tribe trying to avoid the sweep and stop a 5-game losing streak here tonight. Smith walks the speedster Davis.
Yeah, not the guy you wanted to walk here.
Let's shoot it back to the studio once again for an in-game update with Al.
All right, Matt, let's go north of the border. Tigers, Toronto, Detroit, just 20-39 away from home going into tonight's game, but they look pretty good here. Johnny Peralta, 3-run homer. Tigers lead at 7-1, bottom of the 7th inning at Rogers Center. Back to you, Matt.
All right, thanks, Al. Toronto began the night 66 wins, 60 losses, but 11.5 out of first in the AL East. 6 games in back of third place Boston.
Trying to get a read. It will be a different read, though, with the side armor and what he's going to look for Joe Smith.
But he's gone. He got a big jump.
See that? I mean, he did. Whatever he was looking at, he picked it up, and you can't walk that guy. Second stolen base. He's only been in for 2 innings. Look at that jump. And you can see he's at full speed after a couple of steps. So he's now the tying run in scoring position with 1 out here in the 8th.
And Mark Ellis 0 for 2 at the plate. Jeff Larish, left-handed batter, on deck.
Well, that's why Sip's up, getting loose.
They still have a couple of right-handed bats on the bench he could go to. But they would probably stick with Larish. We'll wait and see. 1-0. Outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Up high, and all of a sudden Joe Smith is losing it. He retired Suzuki to start the inning, and he wound up walking Davis. Now he's 3-0 to Ellis. And a strike called over the outside edge.
Ellis taken all the way. And it wouldn't surprise me to see him do it again unless he gets something that he's absolutely looking for.
You know, with the fact that Chris Perez is up, I wonder if Manny Acta wouldn't just go to him. 3-1 pitch. Fouled away.
If he's going to, then why is Sip up? That's what I'm thinking. If he would go to him, there shouldn't be another guy up. He would go right to him.
So it begs the question: why is he up?
Well, he may be getting loose for that 8th inning. You're right. I don't know.
And the payoff pitch. Just missed. Oh, he tried to paint it. Didn't get the call. And now Smith has walked a pair. 2 on, 1 out. Left-handed hitting Jeff Larish coming to the plate. And Manny Acta is going to go to his closer right here. So he will not go to Tony Sip. He's going to go to Chris Perez. At least that was his signal to the umpire. He pointed to his right hand, and it will be the closer, Chris Perez, who comes into the game in the 8th inning with 2 on and 1 out when we come back. Oakland threatening here with 2 on and 1 out in the 8th inning. And Manny Acta with a roll of the dice here. Instead of going to the left-hander Tony Sipp, he's just going to go right to his big dog, Chris Perez, with 2 on and 1 out, hoping for the 5-out save.
Desperate times, man. You got to try and get that win. You know, you've got to stop this streak. Smith walks 2 guys in that inning, allowing them on base. And you walked the wrong guy when you walked Rajai Davis, because he immediately stole second base for the second time tonight. So now they're 5 outs away.
The set of the pitch. Larish pops it up, foul, and into the seats. Well, Larish singled in the second inning. He's flied out and fouled out in 2 at-bats since. The 0-1, right back. John Parado, who covers the Indians and covers a lot of minor league baseball as well. He had a note in one of his stories recently from a scout who has been watching the Indians a lot lately, and he said he thinks Chris Perez has a chance to be one of the top closers in the American League in the next coming years.
Just a matter of getting acclimated to that role.
But he said he loves the fact that he has that, to quote the scout, fearless. You know, when he watches him, that's what he sees, a guy who's fearless out there on the mound. Hit the 0-2. Struck him out looking. Nailed the outside corner. 2 down. And, Rick, I'm guessing if a scout sees that from the stands, that's got to translate to the hitter going to the plate as well.
Well, yeah, it's all a matter of location for him. He just leaves some pitches in the middle of the plate. I'll tell you what, he has the best arm coming out of that bullpen. Breaking ball right there. He's going to dot the I on the outside corner for the strikeout. This is the guy you worry about, Kuzminov, who's had a good series.
Has he ever? 2 hits tonight, 2 hits last night. All 4 of his hits have been for extra bases. 3 doubles and a triple. Checked his swing, and he rolls it to first. Kuzminov barely left the batter's box. Laporta tags the bag, and the Oakland threat dies in a hurry. Chris Perez slams the door on their thumbs here in the 8th. 3-2 Cleveland. That Bulldog's ready to take a bite out of somebody. Special salute tonight to the Boardman Spartan High School Marching Band. They played the national anthem before the ball game tonight. And as if that weren't enough, they stuck around all game long, playing tunes in between innings. They're up in the upper deck, and
yeah, they are.
They're getting ready for a big high school football game. It'll be starting this weekend.
There they
all
are.
The teams in northeastern Ohio. And of course, the Boardman Spartans just outside of Youngstown. The 0-1 on the outside corner to Shin-Soo Choo. Chu, Travis Hafner, Andy Marte will follow Hafner here in the 8th.
If they can get a little insurance run here, that would help. Chris Perez came out and put out the little rally they had going, a couple of base runners. He had those 6 straight strikes.
Jerry Blevins got the last 2 outs of the 7th inning, but he hits Chu here. And the Indians get their leadoff man aboard. Speaking of high school football, the charity high school football games at Brown Stadium coming your way this Saturday. 1 ticket gets you 2 games. 3 o'clock at St. Ed's Menor. 7 o'clock, St. Ignatius battles Lake Catholic. Tickets available now at each high school, Ticketmaster, or the Cleveland Browns ticket office. Travis Hafner, 1 out of 3 with a base hit. That came back in the 4th inning. Look at your man, Eckersley.
There he is. There's that.
That is outstanding.
Yes,
that
indeed.
is great.
He may be up warming up before you know it.
One problem is the mustache doesn't match the hair.
Don't worry about that.
Need a little tint. Popped him up behind the plate and into the seats. We saw Eck at the beginning of the series. He was back in Cleveland hosting a charity golf tournament.
Right.
That he's been involved with for many years.
Many years. The Ed Keating golf outing. Yes, he was. Took place the second day, actually.
Yeah. Well, look at him. He's got the stirrups and everything.
Yeah, but
that's outstanding.
You don't wear the black under the yellow.
No, that's
Those
a faux
green,
pas.
man.
That's
you
a
got
faux
to have
pas.
the green sannies. But that's close enough. I mean, it's good.
Levin snaps a throw to first, but Chu wasn't that far off the bag. No balls and 2 strikes. Right-hander Brad Ziegler warming for Oakland. Hafner in an 0-2 hole. Oakland with an interesting defensive alignment. They've got the shortstop Pennington right behind second base. The 1-2. Bounced it towards second base. Ellis with the flip. They get the force. And Hafner at first on the fielder's choice with 1 out. And before Andy Marte can get to the plate, Bob Guerin's going to make a pitching change. We've got a timeout here in Cleveland with the Tribe on top 3-2. 3 wins, 4 losses for the right-handed side armor, and he's almost a submarine style
he's underneath.
guy.
That's exactly right. He is. He's only appeared in just 4 of the last 23 games, going back to the end of July. But you're right. This will be a different look. Marte going to be the hitter. He came on for defense for Knicks. Jason Donald pinch running for Hafner over at first base.
Andy Marte looks at the ball down low. Marte came on defensively after Jason Nix went 1 for 3 with a double tonight. Set in the pitch, and Marte bounces it foul.
Watch where
Is he a knuckle scraper?
Yeah, he almost hits his hands on the mound.
Oh, not quite.
Well, but
who
when
was
you
the
get
guy
up
for
there,
Oakland?
that one guy,
Chad Bradford.
Bradford used to, yeah. I don't know if he ended up with, I think, Tampa, went to the Mets and then Tampa. But you know, when you're a hitter, you know, it's just tough to get yourself to find the zone where he's coming from. It takes a couple pitches to even find a little area or the little box that you're looking for normally that you look for up above his shoulder. Now you got to look by his right knee to try and pick up the baseball.
It's funny you mentioned that because I remember Bradford coming into a game and Ryan Ludwig. I remember this. Ryan Ludwig was the hitter. Might have been a pinch hit situation. And that's what they were asking him after the game. You know, what do you do when you're facing a guy? And he said, you know, I looked down in the strike zone. I just focused on an area that was down. And he goes, I focused on that area. And he got a pinch hit, I think, that won the game.
Yeah. That's all you can do. You can only look at a certain area. And, you know,
exactly
sometimes
right.
it takes, you know.
And you hope he puts the ball in that
right.
area.
and you hope, you can make contact with it and it finds a hole. That's all. That's why every bullpen likes to have an oddity coming out of it. You know, whether he's right-handed, left-handed, just a different look for the hitters one time through. Most of those guys that throw like that, the reason why they do, they weren't any good when they could throw the ball above their, normally.
Kuzminoff throws out Marte 2 down. Donald moves in the scoring position. And it brings up Trevor Crow. Usually, I would say 9 times out of 10, when you hear the stories about guys who are like that, it was a coach or somebody along the way that said, hey, son, you might want to think about changing your delivery, looking for some more deception.
Well, they're not going to blow anybody away. They're flat, they're trying to get more movement on a pitch. I mean, most pitchers that throw that way, it is because of that.
I just can't imagine it would be easy to convert yourself to that extreme.
Well, you have to find the comfort in it first, where it's a natural thing, for you. Not that everybody can do it. And then once you feel comfortable maybe doing it, then you got to take it into a game. And usually the kids that learn how to do this, they're doing it all in the minor leagues. They're not doing it at the big league level. They got to perfect that before they get up here. And then it's a matter, if you don't have the same coach from year to year, sometimes, how do you instruct somebody like that?
Well, when you think back, historically, when you were playing, Dan Quisenberry, was he really unique? Were there any other pitchers in the league at the time that were throwing like him with that?
Yeah, he was the best at it, Well, to Colby for the National League. But he was in the National League, right. Well, Quisenberry, I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
I don't think there were many.
There weren't that many, not like him when he come way under there,
Seems like now there are more guys like that.
Yeah, because people try it. I mean, you got nothing to lose.
Not many as good as Quisenberry to Colby.
You won't see any as good.
No.
None as good as those two.
But it seems like, and not every team, but most teams seem to have that one guy who just gives you that little bit of a different look. And it may not be a severe submarine style, but
those guys
sidearm or
were
something.
Closers.
Yeah, that's true. They were
closers.
They
weren't setup
guys.
men. They were closers when they'd come out there to save games.
The 0-1 pitch. Missed inside. I seem to recall, Rick, wasn't Gene Garber a guy that would kind of give you a little bit of a side kick, almost like Louis Tiant maybe, turn his back to you?
With Atlanta, he sure was. The guy I never had to face because I never played in the National League.
Yeah.
Knowing those guys.
1-1 pitch. Missed down low with it. That's a good point. I wonder why we haven't seen a submarine-style closer since really
those two guys that I can think of.
And those were two very good ones. A couple of World Series champions.
Yes, they were.
Ground ball, weakly hit to third. That's a fair ball. And Kuzmanov stuffs on the bag to end the inning. Well, we'll go to the ninth. Chris Perez will try to nail it down for the Tribe. 3-2 Indians. Chris Perez came on with 2 aboard and only 1 out in the 8th inning, and quickly retired Jeff Larish and Kevin Kuzmanoff to get out of the inning. Now he'll deal with the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for Oakland: Gabe Gross, Cliff Pennington, and Coco Crisp. Gabe Gross 1 for 3. Drove in Oakland's first run with a 2-out RBI hit in the 2nd inning. One ball, 1 strike. One and 2 the count. Boy, Chris Perez has been a strike throwing machine.
He's peppering the strike zone. 1 ball out of 9 pitches. Well, he knows exactly what he has to do. He's come on and he's done a terrific job in this role since it's been turned over to him in the trade of Kerry Wood.
Pushed him off the plate.
He had 8 consecutive saves in a row. Then he had that one blown save, but in that blown save, he ended up getting the win. Not what you want, but they came back. They picked him up, and then he's been great ever since.
Strike 3 called. Second strikeout for Perez. 1 down in the 9th. He goes in, and he goes away, and he comes back in.
He's had good command with the fastball tonight. Very good command. Last 25 games, 9 saves, a 1.55 ERA.
Now, that's one of those cases, too, where on that last pitch you talk about his command. I don't know that that's where Marson wanted it, but, I mean, it was in a perfect spot.
Well, it's where it ends up.
Yeah.
You may not want it that way, and you may miss, but you miss it in a great spot. Not on the plate, just either perfect pitch or off the plate.
2-0 to Cliff Pennington here, who is 0 for 2 with a walk. Strike called. 2-1 to count. Foul out of play. Pennington and then Coco Crisp here in the 9th inning for Oakland. Indians clinging to a 3-2 advantage, trying to stop a 5-game losing streak. And a line drive base hit into right field for Cliff Pennington. So Oakland still alive and kicking. And Coco Crisp will be the batter, 0 for 4 on the evening.
Looking at Pennington, that's his first hit of the series.
That's right. Both Gross and Pennington, the 8 and 9 hitters, have 1 hit in the series for Oakland. But they've got a chance now with Coco Crisp stepping in. Coco cooled off for the first time in the series tonight. A little bit outside. Ball 1. Perez with the 1-0. Coco went too far. Home plate umpire Bill Hahn doesn't need an appeal for that one. And it's 1-1.
Yeah, he didn't need help is right. He went too far. He saw it himself. Tough to catch up to that fastball up there. You got to lower your sights.
Runner goes. Coco showed bunt, pulled it back for a called strike. And into scoring position is Cliff Pennington with his 21st steal of the year.
Well, that's the third guy in that lineup that has 20 steals. So, but Perez looking to get that high leg kicking with power. Pennington gets a good jump. That's the tying run in scoring position. What it does, it takes the double play away as well.
And now a 1-2 count for Coco Crisp. The 1-2 pitch. A little bit low with it.
And now as an infielder, you got to try and knock everything down. That tying run in scoring position.
And now the 2-2. Struck him out looking. Second called third strike of the inning. Third strikeout for Perez. 2 down in the 9th inning.
Another good fastball painted away. Watch this. Down at the knees. There it is.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent fastball. You see it was high enough. It had the plate. Coco knew it. Down to the last out.
You always say, if the pitch is up, hitter can spoil it. But when it's down, it's just tough to get to, huh?
I mean, you just don't react to it like you do when it's elevated.
Derek Barton looks at a fastball at the kneecaps for a strike. Barton is 1 for 4 tonight. Perez with the 0-1. High with it. One pitch. And a strike called. Boy.
Good breaking ball.
Yeah, it was. You could see by the reaction of Barton. Crowd on its feet. I imagine the dogs are too. A ball and 2 strikes with 2 down in the tying run at second base here in the 9th. And a good stop by Marson.
Well, this is a hitter, though. You figure you're going to have to throw him a strike to get him out.
He'll take his walk.
Yes, he will. You're darn right he will. But Chris has been pounding the strike zone, so he'll go at him.
Here's the 2-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out, and the game is over. Chris Perez with 4 strikeouts on the night. 3 here in the 9th inning to nail down the save for the Tribe and end this 5-game losing streak. Indians win it by a final score tonight of 3-2. Manny Acta has to be pleased with the performance of his pitching staff here this evening. The win goes to Justin Masterson, who is now 5-12 on the season. Chris Perez with his 16th save of the year. For Oakland, Vin Mazzaro is the tough luck loser, and Mazzaro is now 6-6 on the season. With the win, the Indians now 51-76. Oakland drops back to 500 at 63-63. Time now for the play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank. Switch to Key and get a free Sony Bloggy. Visit key.com/bloggy for details.
Well, the Indians finally got a big 2-out hit, and guess what? This one left the yard. It was a 2-run homer. After Oakland had just come back and taken the lead, Laporta gets back up, hits the home run, and boy, the timing could not have been any better. That gives the Indians a 3-2 lead. They hang on to win that ball game. That's going to be our KeyBank key play of the game.
And John Krepop filling in for Tom Bushenik on stats tonight lets me know that the last 5-out save with a 1-run lead for the Indians was David Risky back in May of 2003. But that's exactly what Chris Perez did tonight for the Tribe, and the losing streak is over. We're back with the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care postgame show next.